Shalom, shalom, friends, and good to be with you again this week. And it's Tuesday at 5 o'clock as we come to you once again. I have been thinking a little bit about birds. Now, that is, you're going to say, that's really strange, Rabbi. Why are you thinking about birds? Well, I happened to come home last Friday night, and Rebecca told me to look up into the light fixture, and sure enough, in the entryway of our home, a bird had gone to sleep inside the light fixture right in front of the front door. And it appeared that that bird was building a nest and had planned to make a home right over the entryway to our house. Well, needless to say, that's not a very convenient place for a bird to make a home. And this week we got busy trying to figure out how to how to encourage the bird to find a new home that would not involve the entryway of our house. And I'm happy to report that with the assistance of a small bit of screen, that the bird has successfully relocated itself someplace else. I don't know where, but someplace else. But it's funny because what I found out was that in this week's Torah portion, the portion that we're going to read this Shabbat, there is a connection to birds. Now, you wouldn't believe this, and it's something that I never knew. But this week in the Torah portion, we read about the Israelites crossing the Red Sea and their very first taste of manna. When they complain to God after crossing the Red Sea and they're in the desert, they complain to Moses, who complains to God about them not having enough to eat. God sends manna from the heaven for the Israelites to eat. And lo and behold, there is a Jewish custom that on this Shabbat, no other Shabbat of the year, but on this Shabbat, we put out bird seed for wild birds in the neighborhood. I never heard this custom before and just happened to fall upon it because the truth of the matter is that on Shabbat, normally we are responsible for feeding our own animals. We must feed our own animals, but usually we don't feed wild animals. They're wild after all, and on Shabbat we let them be. But on this Shabbat, we put out birdseed. We provide a little manna for these birds who find an unexpected gift in honor of the Torah reading for this particular week. I find it remarkable and interesting that we even have such a direction, such a custom in our tradition, that there is a particular day of the year, a particular Torah reading, a particular Shabbat of the year, where we remember the vulnerability of wild birds. The truth of the matter is, friends, that there are many who are vulnerable and food deprived and who have food shortages in the world we're living in today. And while I would encourage you to feed the birds this Shabbat, I think we might add to this particular mitzvah, this particular commandment, this tradition, by maybe setting aside a little of our own food, maybe a couple of cans of food, maybe some goods that we have in the cabinet that we don't need right away, for those who are hungry in our own community, for those who need food and who depend on the donations of others for sustenance. Our people, at a time of great need, receive that magical sustenance from the skies, from the heavens. That's not available to us now. Now, it must be our actions and our deeds that feed those who are hungry, those who are without. And it must be us who take responsibility for the people in our community and the birds to see that they have what they need. Let that be part of the lesson for this special Shabbat, for this special Torah reading that comes only once a year when we learn about manna from heaven. Have a good evening, everyone. We're going to conclude with the Mourner's Kaddish. Together, Yitgadal v'Yitkadash Shemei Rabam. B'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabam v'varach li'olam li'amei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitboar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yidadar v'yidaleh v'yidalal Shemei d'kudisha b'richu. Li'ela min kol berchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Have a great week, friends. Take care.